Can you talk about the genesis of that idea? Because you went into the marketing space and the advertising space, but then you got a bit disillusioned. But you were cognizant enough to recognize in yourself that there was something missing in your why. I was wondering if you could talk about that part of your life.
Yeah, my story is kind of not that different to a lot of people, to be honest. I had a good career in advertising and was working on new business pitches and stuff for the company I work for. And I lived through September 11th in New York. And September 11th affected many people in different ways. And one of the things it did to me was it made me feel like my job was stupid. I remember trying to come, and my office was really close to Ground Zero, and I remember coming back to work when we were allowed to, because the area was closed for a few weeks. I remember going back to the office just thinking, what value am I providing here? Like this industry and my job are ridiculously stupid, And so I already had an eye on sort of doing something else, and I had an entrepreneurial spirit, and I considered myself more of a marketer than an advertiser anyway. And so I quit and started my own business with a partner, and went to do something that I thought was in my vision, not theirs. And it went really well for 3 years. I mean, when I say well, meaning we survived. It's never like that, it was more like that. But we did okay. There's over 90% of all small businesses fail in the first 3 years. And we made it.
You didn't, right?
And we didn't. So I mean, that's like that. We joined a very elite club, But year 4 was very different for me. I had already bought out my partner, and I completely lost my passion for what I was doing. And I didn't know why. And people say stupid things to you, like, follow your passion. You're like, I'm doing the same thing and I don't love it anymore. Like, do what you love. You're like, same thing, So I was confused as to what it was. Plus I was embarrassed, because superficially my life was pretty good. I made a decent living. We had amazing clients. Like, we had blue chip clients that we had no business having at our little company. We did great work, well respected by our clients, and yet I didn't feel it. And so I was very embarrassed by the fact that it's like, I'm unhappy, it's like everything looks just fine, So I didn't talk about it. And I would say that all of my energy, instead of going into building my business, all of my energy went into pretending that I was happier, more successful, and more in control than I actually felt, which is a pretty dark space.
Yeah. But you're the leader of that organization, so you have to put that.
And so you put on this air that you got everything under control, and your family asks you how you are, and everything's under control. And I would go to business conferences to learn how to build my business, and that actually made me feel worse, because I'd have all these people standing on the stage telling us how we should build our businesses, and all I could hear was everything I was doing wrong, as opposed to what I should be doing. And so it actually made me feel even more depressed. And it wasn't until a good friend came to me, concerned about me. She saw that there was something different, and she was worried for me. And I remember the conversation. She was very nervous, sort of coming to me, but trying to approach, basically challenging you, like, your life is not as you claim it is. And it really allowed me to admit that I was unhappy. And that gave me the courage to find a solution. The fact that I had a friend in my corner who was there that I could cry to and say, I don't know if I can do this, gave me courage to find a solution. And I was very lucky. There was a confluence of events that happened around the same time. Long story short, I was able to discover that this natural occurring pattern, based on the biology of human decision making, that every single organization on the planet exists on the same 3 levels: what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. Everybody knows what they do. I knew what I did. Some people know how they do it. I could tell you what made me different or special or stand out from my competitors, but I couldn't tell you why. And so I realized, until I was able to articulate that piece, that my life was out of balance. Everything was out of balance. So I was obsessed with this thing called the why. Figured out how to find my why. It restored my passion to levels I'd never experienced before. Unbelievable. Did what anybody would do, or does, when you find something beautiful. You share it with the people you love. And that's what I did. So I shared it with my friends. And my friends started making crazy life changes. And they would invite me to their homes to share it with the people they loved. And I would literally, it all started, I would stand in someone's living room in New York City, and people would sit on the floor, and I would give this talk about the why. That's how it all began. And people just kept inviting me to do it. And I would help people find their why for $100 on the side. That's how it started. So there was never a time where I said, this will be my career. this I can make my millions with this thing. This thing has commercial, value. It was never that. It was always something to share for free, or at least it wasn't a commercial or academic exercise. It was always something just to be shared because it had value, and that was it. And so that's how I went on. And it's really funny. My why is to inspire people to do what inspires them. And I remember exactly where I was sitting too. I had one of the biggest decisions I had to make in my life, which was the first test of my why after I had discovered it, which is I've got this magical thing that clearly has value. Do I copyright it, rights protect it, keep it for myself, put a little TM every time you see it anywhere in the world, and literally sell everything and own it all? Or do I look for opportunities to just share it and give it away whenever possible? And if my why is to inspire people to do what inspires them, there was no choice. I only had one option. And so you've never seen a TM when you see the golden circle or why. And the reason is because I want others to take it. I want others to build on it. I want the idea to spread. It's not mine. I simply put the concept into words. It belongs to whoever wants to use it. And the reason it has spread is because that was a strategic decision many years ago that it should spread.